stop your momentum. A lot of guys make the bad habit of doing this, where they come in here and they just set. You don't want to do that. You want your momentum to go all the way through your opponent and really never stop. That's how you get a strong, effective takedown. So I'll go at a slow speed, but more realistic here. So here I am, all the way out to the side. Now, if I'm going to go back and I want my right foot forward, my old wrestling stance, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to throw my 1-2, 1-2, and I'm going to step. Now, after I take that step, I'm going to do the exact same thing. My knee is going to go down here. My trailing leg is going to come up and take a step. And now I'm going to go through my opponent. I always go through my opponent. Right there. It's the same thing, just my other leg's forward. So there you have the typical wrestling shot of taking your opponent down. Very easy way to do it, and it works good if you set it up well. My only thing is, make sure you set your shots up with your hands. Now I want to show you this takedown a little bit faster so you can see how you should not stop your momentum. The biggest mistake I see people make when they shoot on somebody is as soon as they hit their hips, they stop, and you shouldn't. You should go all the way through, okay? Most of the time you're going to land on the ground. I'm going to take his kind of knees out from under him and he's going to fall right back. Sometimes he's going to fold over you and you're going to lift him up, and I'm going to show you what to do when that happens as well. But here I am. I'm going to take my shot now with my left foot forward. So the first thing I do is I set it up with a double or triple jab, get his hands up. You see how when I hit the ground, I immediately pass guard by trapping his legs. Always, like I said before, remember that it's easier to pass guard on the way down and not when you hit the ground. Now when I'm doing this and I want to bring my right leg forward like I did back in my old wrestling days, I'm going to throw the jab cross, get his hands up, and take the same shot. Same thing, I landed in half guard, but then as soon as I hit, I was able to come out in the side mount. So now if I take this shot and he doesn't fall back, but he folds over the top of me, I'm just going to take a step and come straight up on my feet, and he'll be on my shoulder. Now when that happens, I'm not going to do it with Scotty here, but if somebody's on my shoulder, and I've done this many times in my fight, what I actually do is I hold him on tight, and I'll actually jump and arc and make him hit first, and my weight comes on top of him. I've actually broke people's ribs that way by my shoulder impacting their body. But you just got to be careful. I've seen people have people on their shoulder and then them hit their head on the mat. So you just got to be careful. But if you get people tucked over you and you lift them up, I always tell people, if I'm going to slam somebody, if I've got somebody up in the air, I want to do it in front of my cornerman. So no matter where I'm at, when I lift him up, I look for my cornerman, and if this is my corner, I'll step right to that corner and I'll slam him right there. There's a big deal to do with that. I want to be close to my cornerman so I can hear them and so they can see what's going on. Now, not only am I close to my corner, but he's as far away from his corner as he can get. So now his cornerman can't exactly see what's going on, nor can that fighter hear his cornerman. So I tell you, we've had a lot of people talk about let's say I'm fighting Scotty and I bring him over to my corner. A lot of people, like Scotty, would say that my cornermen are mean. You know, they're always telling me what to do. I've had Jeremy Horn tell me many times exactly what to do. He'll say, take your right arm, grab his left hand, throw the elbow. It's just amazing if you get that fight in your corner, they can see exactly what's going on and they can tell you what you need to know and what you need to do. So anytime I lift my opponent or anytime I'm able to drive my opponent to my corner, I think it's a great thing. Your cornerman can then see what's going on, and you can do what you're being told because you're able to hear them. Well, we just covered shot takedowns, so now we're going to cover a little defense to that. What if you're the type of guy that wants to stay on your feet and wants to defend that takedown? A lot of guys like me are going to set my takedowns up with my hands. So if my opponent is trying to take me down and I know he's going to throw his, and he starts throwing his punches at me, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to step some angle. Because if I stay right in front of him, he's going to have a lot easier time of taking me down. But if he's throwing his punches and I can step to the angle, then he's not going to be able to take me down near as easy. So you can always remember that. If he starts throwing punches and you want to stay on your feet and all he's doing is throwing his punches to set his takedown up, move to the side. And that doesn't mean you have to punch him, but I'm saying that's going to be a lot easier for you to stop his takedown. The next thing, if he does get in on you, if he does shoot on you, go ahead, Scotty. The first thing you want to do is you want to stop his momentum. Actually, I want to stop him before he even gets here, but a lot of times that's not going to happen. So if I can stop him here, that's great, you know, but that's not going to happen a lot of the time. But you always put your hands on him if you can. Now, if he gets all the way in on you, here he is. I want to bring my hips back and fall on top of him and make him like a table. Right there. So that's another thing you can do. And the last option, a lot of times when you're up against a cage or the ropes, well, if you not want to get taken down, stay off the cage and the ropes. It's just a terrible place to be. I yell at my guys all the time when they get cornered up against the cage, get off the cage, get off the cage. If I'm trying to take somebody down and I can get them along the cage, my percentages have just went up dramatically of taking my opponent down just because they can't move their hips now. I've got them pinned up against the cage. But if somebody shoots in on you and gets your leg, you want to pummel in as much as you can and lift him up. And a lot of times I do that when I'm on the cage. If I can get here, I've made it pretty even now, and he doesn't have that big advantage of taking me down.